ears gonna hear me. Through the spirit we see clearly. They swinging if you get near me. Now your boy blowing the trumpet. I used to pull up and dump it. Toting them guns out in public. Riding on off, that was fun shit. Boy, I don't flex for the IG. Wanna go script a script, nigga, try me. Keep a scallop, but he right beside me. To break the laws of God.
Question?
What does it mean when they speak on being a mighty man?
Being a what?
One of the mighty men.
David had, he had a pretty much a secret police, man, like a secret police force. But most of them were heathens. Most of them were actually Hamites, right? And those were actually David's mighty men. Because under David, he subjugated a lot of nations, right? But he had heathens that kept their sword wet for him and the Most High. For some reason, he had heathens ready to kill for him, man.
He really had that ability to go in, one or two of them, and take out a whole city.
Yeah, exactly. The mighty men of David.
Now,
right?
will we have that again?
Absolutely. But that's when once we have once we get our spiritual powers, if we're found worthy and we're those men, right? Because we'll never claim that's us. It's up to the Most High if He finds us worthy, right? We're not these other so-called groups that says that we are those, right? We understand that if we're found worthy that day, that we're gonna have our bodies changed and get our what's the word I'm looking for? Our glorified bodies with spiritual powers, right? Read.
In Zechariah 12:7, the Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first.
I'm saying first, Judah's tents are going to be saved first. Read.
That the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
He's going to defend all the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Read.
And he that is feeble among them,
and even the weaklings among us, the most weak. Now I'm not saying like weak spirit. I'm talking about the feeble body, right? Among us that you see today, the most weakest among us today. Read.
Among them at that day shall be as David.
They're going to be as David. And we understand David had power. He was bound in walls. He was breaking through walls and everything. That man was powerful, man. Read.
Con. And the house of David shall be as God.
And the house of David shall be as God. Because out of the house of David, because Jesse's son is the one that the Most High chose to sit on the throne, right? Read.
Con. As the angel of the Lord before them. This is Psalms 18 verse 32. It is God that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect.
So he's saying it is God that girdeth it's like we gotta get
Con.
This is a Psalm of David. Read that again.
Con. It is God that girdeth me with strength.
So it is God that girdeth David with strength, right? Read.
And maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds feet, and setteth me upon my high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by mine arms. Though thou hast given me the shield of my salvation.
No, because he's the one, the Most High is the one that gave him this power, right? And he gave him that steel, that shield of salvation. Read.
And thy right hand. And thy right hand hath holden me up, and thy gentleness hath made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them that they would not. I have wounded them that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me.
So this is the power that David had. But he always understood that the Most High is the one that did that, man. So the weakest, the feeble among us is going to be like David in that day, man. Right? David was powerful, man. Right? He subjugated so many nations, man.
David, and along with the apostles, be there with them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
He's
then
definitely gonna be in the kingdom.
under they're ruling up us or what? If we over all nations or
Absolutely.
explain
Well,
that to us.
what's gonna happen? We go to the 12 thrones. You know what I mean? 12 thrones. We got 12 thrones. Judging. So this is what he told his apostles right here. Watch this.
This is Matthew 19 and 28. And Jesus, y'all start at 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee.
So Peter asked you, how shall you say, yo, we have forsaken all and we follow thee. And this is what we must do, man. Right? This is the audience right here he was talking to his the disciples. But all these things that was written for us in these last days was written for our understanding and our learning, right? So this is what we must do. We must forsake everything just like they did. For Yahushua, read.
What shall we have therefore? And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me,
Those that have followed them, this is the audience right there. He's talking to the 12. Read.
in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory,
So when the Son of Man sits on the throne of his glory, ruling earth, right? When kingdom of heaven here on earth, right? Read.
ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So those 12, the apostles, just the apostles, this is the audience to them. He says, when I sit on my throne of glory, on here in the kingdom of heaven here on earth, third temple and all that, right? You 12 are going to be sitting on your own thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So these men are sealed, right? They're elected, right? So the rest of the elect are going to be co-rulers with Yahushua, right? But these 12 men get certain special seats, right? But this is an example written for us in the last days that we must do exactly what they did. Forsake the world for Yahushua and for God's words, man. Right? Anything else? Got another question? All right. Appreciate it.
This is Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
But this is talking about the heathen, though. This is talking about heathen nations. This is the spirit that the Most High is putting upon these nations that are gearing up for war right now.
That we already predestined.
There is predestination. So it's up to the Most High if yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So we think
Watch
we got
this.
free will and
we don't. Watch this. Yup, watch this. Go to the blue letter. We are a spectacle. We are a spectacle for the Most High. Watch this.
Con, this is 1 Corinthians 4:9. For I think that God has sent forth us, the apostles last, as it were appointed to death.
So he's talking about right here. Paul is talking about the apostles last. He has sent the apostles last at that time, right? Watch this.
For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men.
So we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and upon men. But watch this. What's really important to understand that we have to go into the languages that it was written in. So this was written in Greek right here, right? You got it yet?
The word for spectacle, it says theatron. It's
Theatron. That goes back to the word theater, right? Read.
G2302, theatron, right? It says a theater, a place in which games and dramatic spectacles are exhibited, and public assemblies held. For the Greeks used the theater also as a forum, a public show, a metaphor, a man who was exhibited to be gazed at and made sport of. Strong's definition, a place for a public show, a theater, general audience room, a show itself, figuratively, a theater.
Figuratively, a show. So we are just characters in this movie, man, that the Most High has written from the beginning. right? So that's why we always hope that we're found worthy that day.
Lord's faithful.
It's exactly. And if we're not found worthy that day, we're still gonna see this damn devil's kingdom crumble, man. And we're gonna be reborn in the kingdom, man. Right? But it's still, we still hope for us to be of that number, man. Right? Because we want to be of that number, because we want to see, we want to reap the benefits of the kingdom that in the world to come, man. Right? We want to have these devils in slavery just like they had our ancestors in slavery, man. Right?
Why don't you feel they ain't got a judgment? You know, with all the wicked things that have been
they're
done.
deceived, man. Right? But guess what? Go to Conquer or eat them. Back on that.
They cause so much division.
Read.
Lamentation 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
So all these things are going to come upon Edom, man. This whore of a nation of Esau, they're going to drink of that cup, man. Right?
They don't think so.
Because, I mean, I'm sure the elite knows.
Yeah.
Because the elite, they know this. They know these scriptures are real, man. Right? With Amalek and the so-called Jewish man, especially the high echelon of these devils, they understand that this is true.
Oh, some of their old books from the past centuries,
Yeah.
they speak the truth on
Yeah, absolutely.
the Jews of Portugal and
So they understand, like the higher ups, the upper echelon, like what people know as the Illuminati and all, they know what's coming to them. So that's why it behooves them to keep us in sin, right? Because while we're in sin, they get to rule the world, right?
Everybody got out, all these Hollywood, rappers and everything coming at us with everything.
This is Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever,
Inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. Read.
and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
See, everywhere they go, they call their lands after their own names, right? Because they believe that they're gonna rule forever. But like I said, the higher echelon, they know that this word is true. But like I said, it behooves them to keep us in sin, because as long as we keep them in sin, they can keep ruling. But the joke's on them, because everything was pre-written by the Most High, and His time, whenever it's gonna come, it's gonna come, right? So at the end of the day, the joke's on them. Is that it? Read.
This is Revelation 18, verse 7. How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
This whore of America, which is the name we understand is ruled by Edom. Read. She thinks that she's going to live in this luxury forever. Read.
Therefore shall her plagues come in one day.
Therefore, all those plagues are going to come within one day. One day. Read.
Death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her.
So all these torments are going to come to her in one day. In one day, you're going to be widows and orphans, man. In one day. Watch this. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 2. All with
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright.
Ungodly says they reason with themselves, right? Read.
Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave.
They don't understand that, because this is that ungodly. right? For the ungodly, no man has returned from the grave, right? Read. Of their nation, read.
For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our hearts.
So they understand that the breath of the nostrils is just smoke. It dissipates, right? It's short. Read.
Which, being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our light shall pass away as the trace of a cloud.
They're talking, this is what the wicked say to each other, right? They're saying that all these things are come and go. They understand this, right? Read.
And shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no return, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again.
They said after their time, it doesn't return no more. Exactly what Daniel in the book of Daniel says, that the saints of God shall take the kingdom forever, forever, and forever. The wicked know that. Read.
Verse 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present.
So therefore, let's go right now and enjoy these what we did, right? Because through slavery, colonization, and all these riches that they accumulate, let's just live it up right now, right? Read.
And let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with the costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us.
Fill ourselves up with all the wine and the oil, right, and the flour, all the riches. Because in the ancient days, that was riches right there, right? Read.
Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot is this.
This is our portion, our lot is this. This is what the wicked are saying within themselves. Read.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Let us oppress the poor righteous men. Right? The poor righteous man is us. Right? So while they're living it up and they're living and benefiting from the riches from what their ancestors had done to us, he said, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Read.
Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth.
He said, let our strength be the law of justice. These so-called courts that they set up, their laws, that they think they are justice. Right? Read. That's their power. Read.
Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doing.
See? Read that again, Salakia.
Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
He goes, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous. Read.
Because he is not for our turn.
Because the men that serve the Most High is not for what they're doing, man. Right? We're totally against. We go totally against what they're everything they get set up for. Right? Read.
And he is clean contrary to our doing. He upbraided us with our offending the law, and objected to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. He professed to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
And that's what offends him, right? That's the nail in the coffin right there, right? Because we keep God's laws, we know we are God's children, man. Read.
He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us even to behold.
So we were made to go against everything Esau is going, everything that Esau set up in these last days, and that offends him, that grieves him. Read.
For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
We understand that those fake rats are counterfeits, man. We understand that these so-called Jewish people are counterfeits, right? These people that actually rule the world are counterfeits. We see them as counterfeits.
They know that. They know that.
He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his Father. Let us see if his words be true.
So now he's saying, so he's saying that we boast that Yahweh is our God, man, and he's going to save the righteous, right? And he's going to take us out of the situation. Esau and Amalek, they say, well, let's see if it's true, right? Read.
See that all the time.
And let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture.
Let us just, and they've been doing that for the last 400 years, man.
And this one,
Right.
I saw this video, the guy was like, I'd rather be ruling in hell, meaning they knew hell is, we live in hell.
we live in the hell.
Than to be a servant in heaven.
In the kingdom of heaven.
I'm like,
He's
wow.
an idiot. That's Christian thought. He thinks that he thinks that hell. I heard that saying. I'd rather be a party in the hell than be a servant.
Yeah, he
But
said
this
he'd
is
rather rule in hell than to be a servant in heaven. And I equate that with them knowing right now, y'all know y'all living in y'all heaven, which is our hell here on earth. And you know that new heaven for us is coming.
I caught
You
it.
know,
I caught
right.
it.
And y'all don't want to be subject to being
Yeah,
our
because he
servant.
doesn't want. He don't want to be slaves. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Appreciate for that. Read.
This is second Maccabees 7:13 through 17. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good, being put to death by men, to look for hope from God to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Then looked he unto the king and said, thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt, yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God. But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed.
So this is under the Greeks, right? This righteous brother right there understood that, man. He said, you can put me to death, I don't give a damn. The Most High, I have faith that the Most High is going to resurrect me in that day, man. But as unto you, there is no resurrection for you, right? There is no rulership after this world ends in the world to come, man. There is no rulership for the goddamn white man, for the Asian man, for the Chinese man, for nobody but the Israelites, for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. And the rest of the Israelites scattered all over the four corners of the earth. Because our brothers and sisters are scattered everywhere, in whatever nation they may be, right? Because we do got brothers all over, right? Go back to that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 19. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture.
He said, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture. That's what they did, right? Through slavery, through colonization. They've been doing that for the last 400 years, man. Read.
That we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death. For by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them.
So this is going back to them. This is saying that all these things that they did, their own wickedness blinded them, man. So this is all they did. So Wisdom of Solomon 2 is just crazy, man. Wisdom of Solomon 2 is crazy. It describes Esau's ownership and our plight and their thoughts on how everything is playing out. And Solomon was just, man, bro. He had the spirit on him so crazy, man.
Once you get out of that Christianity thinking, it opens up for you about the real truth. In this book, and you do realize it wasn't for everybody.
Absolutely. Now go to Psalms 33 and 18. Give me verse 22. You give me 2 Peter 3, 1 through 7.
Verse 22. Con, this is Psalms 33, verse 22.
Yeah. You read all the way to 22.
Con. Let thy mercy, O Yahweh, be upon us, according as we hope in thee.
So this is what we hope for. We hope that the Most High Spirit and His mercy stays upon us, even to the last moment of death if we have to die for this, man. Like I said, that terrifies me, that if the Most High takes His Spirit from you and you have to die for me, you die a coward, man. Right? That's it. Give me 2 Peter 3, 1 and 7. And then again, our people are hard-headed, man. They're carnal and they're scoffers, man. Right? Read.
2 Peter chapter 3. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance.
So he's saying that he's writing this epistle, this letter to the children of Israel, right? Hoping that it stirs up their minds, right? With remembrance. This is what Paul was writing, right? No, this is Peter. This is what Peter was writing, right? To the children of Israel. That hopefully with that letter, that he was going to stir up the mind with remembrance of everything that our ancestors have written for us in this last day. Read.
That ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets.
See that our people be mindful of everything that was written by our ancestors, our prophets. Read.
And of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust.
We understand that there's going to be scoffers in these last days, and they're walking around with the hearts are full of lust, man. They don't care. They even scoff at this world. Scoff at us, scoff at this word, right? But they're scoffing really at the Most High, man. Right? Read.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
Doesn't that sound like Jake? Doesn't that sound like our people, man? Y'all been saying that, people been saying that the world was going to end for ages and it haven't ended, right? This is exactly what that's talking about right there, man. Right? Read.
For this they willingly are ignorant of.
But that they're ignorant, they're willfully ignorant thereof, because deep down they know they're wrong. Deep down they know that there's the Most High God, man. Right? But they're walking in their heart full of lust, in their hearts, the lust of their hearts. They don't really care, man. Read.
That by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth.
That was the first step, right? He's talking about Noah right there. That's the first step. Read.
But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
That's the second death. So he spoke about right there about, remember he said all these things, this letter I'm sending out to you to hoping that it will stir up your mind to remember everything that our prophets has written down for us in these last days. Then he spoke about Noah and about how the earth was flooded. That's the first step. And he said all these things that we see today and all the wicked men that we see today are preserved for fire, which is the second death. Right? So that's the first death and the second death. Right? What do you got? Read.
This is Sirach 2 and 13 and 14 in the GNT. Doom is sure to come for those who lose their courage. They have no faith, and so they will have no protection. Doom is sure to come for those who lose their hope. What will they do when the Lord comes to judge them?
He said, what would he do when the Most High comes to judge them? What are they going to do when the Most High judges them? But this is talking about to keep courage. Read that again. Go back to that.
Con. It says, doom is sure to come for those who lose their courage.
Do make sure to come for those that lose their courage. Read.
They have no faith.
And have no faith.
And so they will have no protection.
therefore they will have no protection.
They lose their courage, meaning faith.
Your courage, they lose their courage because they have no faith. That's exactly what she's talking about. Read.
Doom is sure to come for those who lose their hope. What will they do when the Lord comes to judge them?
Because they lost their hope. And what are they going to do when the Most High comes to judge them? Right? And that's terrifying. That's exactly how I was going into. Right? That was
Sirach 2 and 13.
I think that's the GNT though.
Yeah, Sirach 2, 13 and 14.
Right? So even if we have to die for this, right? We die with the Spirit of the Most High upon us, and we'll meet our death with courage, right? But if you used to die a coward because you lost your hope in the Most High, He takes the Spirit from you, you die a coward at that moment, man, you know it's over,
I got
man.
another question. He got us believing that Jacob's trouble was times past. Is that?
Every time we're going to depression, and every time we go into serious times and straits for our people, it's Jacob's trouble.
All right.
Right?
So that's past and future.
Future, past, present, future. Every time that Esau or any nation puts us in certain things, that's Jacob's trouble.
Okay.
So there is going to be a Jacob's trouble. We are in Jacob's trouble right now, but there's going to be there's going to be a time that we are going to be in Jacob's serious in it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Jacob's trouble is every time we have gone through certain.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, man,
exactly.
No. That was times past, and man, I literally got heated with this dude, over him, just the ignorance about it.
But you know what though? That's how our prophets has always been, man. Right? I mean, Nehemiah just to put hands on people, man. Like, come on, ripping beards off, and you know what I'm saying? And then we got Jeremiah that used to cry, you know what I'm saying? The weeping prophet. Like, our people has always not given a hell what the prophets had told them, man. You know what I'm saying?
Now.
Just like now.
They walk past this word,
Exactly.
and I see it on video. I mean,
Isaiah
every
65
time, and our people just walk past.
Exactly. But we're prepared for that.
But
Right?
into that Sunday church.
We're prepared for that, but they want to go feel good. They want that feel good. They want to go get all up in the church. 65
I
and 2.
love it. Oh, okay.
Isaiah 65 verse 2, I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people.
The Most High does spread His hands all day to rebellious people. How does He do that? We're not going to see the Most High God leave the throne and come to earth and spread His hands. He's spreading His hands to our people by sending His men out here, man. This is the Most High's arm spreading out to our people, right? But He spread it out to a rebellious people all day long, me.
Which walketh in a way that was not good.
They walk it up and down in the place in a way that is not good. They don't give a damn, man. Right? They're worried about go getting it fixed, or they're worried about go serving a brother, or go commit adultery, you know what I'm saying? Or have sex with their brother's wife. Or they don't care, man. They just want to do everything that's against the Most High's laws, right? Read.
Which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts. A people that provoked me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick.
So this is what the Most High feels, man. Like, this is what He sees, right? He spread His hands all day to a rebellious people, a people that angers Him, right? That goes to these stupid churches and lighted golden candles to these idols, and that's what it's talking about right there. To these whatever places of false worship that they go to, right? But they refuse to take heed to the Most High's arm that is stretched out upon them, which is us, man. Right?
This is Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord.
But there's going to come a time that He's going to remove us from these corners, man. There's going to be a famine, not of bread or water, but a famine of hearing the word of the Lord. Read.
And they shall wander from sea to sea.
Then they're going to be running around from sea to sea, right? Read. That means, I forget the precept right there in Revelation that sea to sea's peoples. Read.
And from the north even to the east, They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find
They're
it.
gonna be running around here like with the chicken with their head cut off, to looking for the word of the Lord, right? You're gonna be like, damn, them niggas and spicks out there in the corner yelling all day, we're the prophets of the Lord, right? They're gonna be like, damn. I'm telling you, man, when hell kicks off, they're gonna know that there was prophets among them, man.